Hello everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today we are making a dress with a long sleeve and a puff sleeve at the shoulder. This dress is 2-layer skirt. You can see how it is. It is beautiful step by step, and this dress is for 2 to 3 years. And I made 2 versions of this dress. I'm going to show you the second one. So this is the second one of this dress, which has short sleeve, and this is how the second one look. And this one has a gather skirt. It's not 2-layer skirt. You can make yours like this, or you can also make yours with a long sleeve. But for today, we are showing how to make long sleeve. Please support us by subscribing, like, and share the video. Continue to share our video with your friends and loved ones. Support us by giving us super thanks on YouTube and also giving us stars on Facebook. That is also a way to support me. Like this video. Most of you are watching, you're not liking the video. Continue to like so that we can get more traction on YouTube. And let's jump right to this tutorial. This is my basic pattern paper for 2 to 3 years. So this is the front. I have already had seam allowance on my pattern paper. And this is the back pattern paper, 2 to 3 years. From here to here is 1.5 centimeter for my zipper seam allowance. If you're going to attach a button at your center back, you add 3 centimeters. So I just fold 1.5 centimeter inside, and I am left with 1.5 centimeter for my zipper. And this is my basic sleeve. This is how it is. You can see that, and I just fold it into 2. This is the front and this is the back. If you are going to make a puff sleeve, or you want to gather it at the wrist of the sleeve, what you are going to do, this is 4 centimeter. From here to here is 4 centimeter. You place your pattern paper like this. From at the top, I add about also 4 centimeter. If you're using inches, you can measure 1.25 inch. Once you take that measure, all you have to do, take your arm or curve and just curve it out and continue with the side seam. This is how I draft my sleeve pattern paper. So what I'm going to do, this basic pattern paper, I'm going to put it aside, and this is what I'm going to use for this dress making. So what I'm going to do, I am going to place my pattern on my fabric, pin it all around, and then we cut it out. This is my fabric. I'm using this beautiful tie-dye fabric, and it's a pure cotton fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice as long as it's a cotton fabric. If you don't have a cotton fabric, you can also use other kinds of fabric to make this dress making. So let me pin my pattern paper on my fabric and we cut it out. I have pinned my back pattern paper on my fabric. When you pin it on your fabric, make sure you're cutting 2 pieces for the back, 1 piece for the front. The front is on fold, the back is not on fold. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scissors and cut it out. I have pinned my sleeve pattern paper on my fabric. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scissors and cut it out. When you are cutting out your sleeve pattern paper, make sure you cut 2 pieces and make sure you place your pattern paper on fold. So my pattern paper is on fold right here. And my pattern paper already includes seam allowance. So what I'm going to do, I will just go ahead and cut it out. The next thing that you have to do, you are going to cut out your skirt. I have cut out my skirt. It's 2-layer skirt. So I'm going to tell you the measurement of my skirt. My skirt is folded into 2 right here. So what you are going to do, place your measuring tape like this. The width of my skirt is 53 centimeter or 21 inch. And I'm going to tell you the length of my skirt. The length of my skirt is 25.5 centimeter or 10 inch. Make sure that your fabric is on fold when you are cutting them out. So this is my 1st layer skirt, and I'm going to tell you the measurement of my 2nd layer skirt, and this side is also on fold. I will place my measuring tape like this. I'm going to take the width of my 2nd layer skirt. The width of my 2nd layer skirt is 79 centimeter or 31 inch. And the length of my 2nd layer skirt is 14 centimeter or 5.5 inch. So this is how I cut out my skirt. Remember, when you are cutting out your skirt, you will take the total width of your 1st layer That is how you will times that by 1.5 or times 2, then you get your second layer skirt by width. The length depends on how you want the length of your skirt to be. So what we are going to do, we are going to start putting the dress together. This dress that we are making today, we are not going to line in the dress. I am going to show you how to make it very simple and easy way. And make sure you prepare your zipper. So this is my invisible zipper. You can use any zipper of your choice. First thing that you're going to do, you open your made fabric. This is the front of my fabric, and I'm going to take the back pieces and putting the bow shoulder seam together. Put the bow shoulder seam together, take it to your sewing machine and stitch the shoulder seam with your seam allowance. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Once you have done that, you take your sleeve to your sewing machine. Make sure you stitch a gather stitch thread at the top edge of your sleeve, and also repeat the same process with the second sleeve. Once you have done that, you take your skirt. This is my first layer skirt. What I'm going to do, I am going to stitch a gather stitch thread at the top edge of my first layer skirt, and I will also take the second layer skirt. I will also stitch a gather stitch thread at the top edge of my second layer skirt. I have top stitched the shoulder seam of my top dress, and I take it to my overlock. I overlock the raw edges. I iron the seam towards the back bodice. What we are going to do, we are going to gather our sleeve at the armhole of this dressmaking. I have gathered my sleeve. This is how it is. What I'm going to do, I will take it to my sewing machine and stitch it with 1 centimeter seam allowance. And I will also repeat the same process on this other side. Stitch it with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Once I am done with that, I will remove the gather stitch thread, take it to my overlocker and overlock the both raw edges. I have stitched my sleeve around the armhole, and I take it to my overlocker. I overlock the raw edges. The next thing that you are going to do, you are going to put the both side seam of your top dress and your sleeve together. All you have to do, put them together like this. Make sure that both seams are properly matched. What you're going to do, you just pin that in place. Pin the side seam of your top dress, pin the side seam of your sleeve together. I have pinned the side seam of my sleeve and the side seam of my top dress together. What you are going to do, take it to your sewing machine and stitch it with your seam allowance. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. I have top stitched the side seam together. I take it to my overlocker. I overlock the raw edges of the side seam. This is how it is. So what you are going to do, you are going to hem your sleeve. Before you hem your sleeve, take it to your overlocker, overlock the raw edges. If you don't have overlocker, all you have to do, fold inside 1 centimeter and fold it again and top stitch. I overlock the raw edges and I fold inside 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch. What I'm going to do, I will take it to my sewing machine and hem my sleeve, and I will also repeat the same process on this other side. Once you have done that, the next thing that we have to do, we are going to gather the second layer of our skirt on the first layer of our skirt. So go ahead and gather your skirt together. I have gathered the second layer on the first layer skirt. This is how it is. Once you have done that, the next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine and top stitch. My seam allowance is 1.3 centimeter or half an inch. Depends on the seam allowance that you add on your fabric, you stitch it all together. Once you have done stitching, remove the gather stitch thread, take it to your overlocker and overlock the raw edges. If you don't have overlocker, you can always use zigzag to overlock the raw edges of your dressmaking or your skirts. I have stitched my skirt together. This is how it is, and I take it to my overlocker. I just overlock the raw edges. This is how it is, and I also overlock the bottom hem raw edges. This is how it look. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to gather our skirt at the waistline of our top dress. You gather your skirt at the waistline of your top dress. Once you have done gathering, take it to your sewing machine and top stitch. My seam allowance is 1.3 centimeter or half an inch. Once you have done stitching, remove the gather stitch thread, take it to your overlocker and overlock the raw edges. I have stitched my skirt at the waistline of my top dress. This is how it is. Once you have done that, the next thing that we have to do, we are going to stitch our invisible zipper at the center back. So what you are going to do, you pin your zipper all around. Once you have done pinning, take it to your sewing machine and top stitch. I believe a lot of you know how I stitch my invisible zipper at the center back. I will first use pin to pin it in place, and then I will thread my needle, use hand stitch to stitch it first before we take it to my sewing machine and stitch. Once you have stitched your zipper in place, you can see that I've started putting my elastic around the wrist area. So what you are going to do, you cut elastic. Make sure you measure your child wrist elastic. So you measure around here. So I'm going to tell you the measurement of my elastic. You place your measuring tape like this and measure down 16 centimeter. If you're using inches, you can measure 6.25 inch. All you have to do, place your pin like this on your elastic. You pick your sleeve, and this is my open gap right here, and I will place it around the hem. When you are hemming your sleeve, remember to leave a gap. So I forgot to say that at the beginning when I was explaining that. Please remember to leave a gap so that you can pass your elastic through. So you go ahead and pass it through all around. Before this other elastic goes inside, use a pin just to secure it in place like this. Once you secure it in place, you go ahead and continue passing your elastic through. I have passed my elastic through. All you have to do, remove the pins, put them together like this, and you secure that with a pin. Take it to your sewing machine and top stitch. Once you have done stitching, push the elastic inside and close the open gap. Go ahead and stitch your invisible zipper at the center back of your dress, and also place your elastic around the wrist area of your sleeve and stitch the open gap of your sleeve. I have top stitched my invisible zipper at the center back of my dress, and I've also stitched my elastic together, and I close the open gap. This is how it is. Once you have done that, I will just open my zipper. This is how it will look. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to finish closing the center back. Put them together like this. Take it to your sewing machine and top stitch. Once you have done that, you can also use that opportunity to hem your dress. So I take my dress to my overlock. I just overlock the bottom and raw edges all around, and then I fold inside 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch. What I'm going to do, I will take it to my sewing machine and hem my dress around. The next thing that we have to do, we are going to use bias binding to bind the neckline. So make sure you cut a piece of fabric. The width of my piece of fabric is about 2 centimeter. Make sure it is longer so that you can be able to use it to bind the neckline all around. So what you are going to do, place it at the neckline of your dress like this. You go ahead and pin it all around. I have pinned it all around. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine and give it a top stitch all around. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Depends on the seam allowance that you add on your fabric. you go ahead and stitch your neckline together. Once you have done stitching, trim a little bit out from the seam allowance, then fold it one time and top stitch all over again. Once I am done with that, I will show you the final look of my dressmaking. This is the final look of my dress. It's beautiful, step-by-step tutorial, and I have also finished stitching my center back all around, and I've hemmed my dress all around. I have also stitched around the neckline. This is how it is once you have done that. You can line in the dress, you can decide not to line in the dress, it's optional. So I just want to put this out here so that it is easy to make. Even if you don't have a lining, you can really make a beautiful dress without lining. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a beautiful day. Bye.